Very good morning to all. Now, today it's the second day of the Global Opportunity organized by the CMIV committee and the wonderful initiative by the committee, I must say. And today we will be having two major countries and economies, USA and Canada. The panelists are from these countries. These two countries where our member strength is largest after UAE. We are fortunate to have so many leaders from USA and Canada today who will be participating in the panel discussion. The significant strength of our members, widely spread in USA, it's very much required that we bring together members in different cities and with wonderful work from San Francisco chapter team under the leadership of CA Visharunachalam, chapter foundation chairman. We have brought so many new cities on the ICAI map in the form of new chapters and representative offices of ICAI. The new cities which have come up on the ICAI map include Washington DC, Houston, Chicago, New Zealand, Dallas, Florida, Seattle, New Jersey, Atlanta, Maryland, and Ohio. Initiative which we have taken recently and expected emerging opportunities. We are confident that many new opportunities for contributing to the growth of our country and our members' growth will emerge in these two large countries. So with the vast experience of our leaders, we explore opportunities and learn how to overcome the challenges for materializing the available opportunities. And today we are having among us CA Ganesh Sharma sir, CA Ritesh Sai ji, Raja Shekhar, Geetika ma'am, and Gokul Badai, Gaurav Jain. Before that, I request Ritu sir to formally introduce our main speaker of today, that is Vijay Kumar Gupta.
Thank you very much, Sonia ma'am. First of all, I welcome all the speakers and our colleagues who are attending this program. Now, the formal welcome of CA Vijay Kumar Gupta ji, the founding chairman, British Columbia Vancouver Chapter, Canada. CA Vijay Kumar Gupta is an MBA and FCA, has a wide and rich experience of more than 33 years in various areas of the profession. He started his professional career in 1986 in finance and accounts, audit, and other consultancy work, related to diversified nature of organizing both in public and private sector. He also carried out various training programs in accounts, auditing, financial management for the benefit of clients as well as own staff. In his capacity as a partner of Tanandra Groups and Associates, leading firm of chartered accountant, he has supervised audit of leading public sector companies and central statutory bank audits, including merger of New Bank of India into PNB. He also founder chairman of British Columbia chapter of ICAI and has been speaker in international seminar of ICAI on professional topics, including professional opportunity abroad for member of ICAI. CA Vijay specialized in public-private partnership and worked as a financials and PPT specialist on number of projects in India, and has also worked as financial consultant on projects funded by World Bank, ADB, and USAID. He has worked in countries such as Iran, India, Mauritius, Indonesia, and Nepal. He provided training and is presented paper on public-private partnership at various platforms internationally. He has been instrumental in providing and conducting value-added professional seminars, conferences, activities to enrich worldwide members' knowledge. CA Vijay served as founding chairman of the British Columbia Vancouver chapter and has been playing significant role in extending initiative in British Columbia Vancouver since the formation of this chapter. Thank you, Vijay sir, and it's a great pleasure to have you with us.
Okay, thank you very much for a nice introduction. My dear friends, CA Sonia Arora, Pravdeep, Gaganji, Ganeshji, Ritesh Bhai, Rajeshwar Reddy, Sanjay Agarwal ji, Geeta Ramakrishnan, Pawan Sarda, Gokul Das and Gaurav Jain and all other friends. It is a great privilege to participate in the webinar being organized by Committee of Members of Industry and Business of Jalandhar branch of NIRC of ICAI and branch of the NIRC for seeking global business and professional opportunities for chartered accountant in different parts of the world. This is a one-off initiative where even our Prime Minister wants that the service industry should be focused and the people should go worldwide. So, as you are aware, we all belong to a very noble profession. This profession has given us, all of us, a social recognition as well as a status. Indian chartered accountants are known as the best chartered accountant in the world. The institute, with the formation of the chapter abroad, has created a good branding, and chapter has been very helpful in creating professional opportunities for our members. In Canada, Indian chartered accountants have achieved a very high position. In addition to the finance and accounting heads, we have CEOs in multinational bank, CFO in State Bank of India and various banks, and CEO of a large trading house and CEO of a large not-for-profit organization. Here in Canada, the not-for-profit organizations have also very good presence, and they are also in like pension funds. So in banks. So this country has a lot of opportunities for our members, and they are in a very strategic positions in private, public, and even on a government. So as far as Canada is concerned, there is a various opportunities for our chartered accountants. So as we discussed, I would like to address my brief on three parts. First part, for the benefit of the young members who are immigrating Canada. Second, for the firms who wish to explore the professional opportunities, and third, for our members who are looking for business opportunities. I will go very briefly so that everybody, and if there is any questions that we can take up, and on our behalf, Ganesh can take up for the Canada. The young members should prepare well before immigrating. It is extremely costly for hunting jobs and study at the same time. You should go for a soft skill training, create LinkedIn profile, obtain good knowledge of Word, Excel, Visio, and prevailing accounting software, and be ready to adopt change culture as you will be working here in a multicultural atmosphere. Members in chapter in Canada are eager to help you in all possible way to establish you, whether it is a job, CPA examination, or further career or professional related problems. We are working in a very for facilitating all members. Even we are arranging jobs, we are arranging interview. They are sitting in India also, but at least they should apply for a PR. They must have a work permit, and even they have not landed. Our chapters have a good collaboration with the business world, and we are getting first chance and even referral from our members. Any vacancy comes in a Big Four, they basically offer us that if you have a chartered accountant who are immigrating new, at least you can send us for the interview. So chapter has become a very strong focal point for the members. So I will advise all members before coming, at least they should contact to the chapter. The firm who wish to explore the professional opportunities and wish to diversify the opportunities are existence in various fields other than traditional practice. Opportunities are available: investigative and forensic auditing, litigation or audit support services, commercial insurances, corporate payroll, cloud bookkeeping, software development. One thing is very important to note that you should go for a specific field in which you have expertise. It should not be that you should explore the possibility of going all sectors. It is better if you explore the possibility of making one sector as your specialist. And you should create a networking and association with a similar nature of firm locally here. So that will be helpful for getting you and explore the professional opportunities for the firms who wish to explore the opportunities. For professionals who wish to establish business, Canada West Coast connect the Asia Pacific region with North America, provide easy, fast and reliable access to the world market. It offers modern, cost-effective connections to the global transportation and communication system. Our Pacific time zone overlaps major commercial time zone, allowing convenient communication and scheduling. So Pacific part is basically a west part. for CA who seek business opportunities, information communication, ICT, clean technology, digital media, life science are emerging industries in British Columbia. I basically belong to the British Columbia, so I'm what I see here that I am basically letting you know. And prominent global companies have built up history here, and now even Amazon, Salesforce are spending base here. So British Columbia business pays a combined general corporate tax of 27%, among the lowest in G7 countries. There are various tax credits also available here. So since it is basically I'm just going an overview of the what is available here. So coming to the there are I have basically for the students the pathway from immigration to CPA. We have one a 2-page presentation which I will request Prabhji to share if he can, please.
Yes, I'm sharing. Just 1 second.
Yes, sure.
Uh, can you see now?
Yeah, I can see now. The next page, yeah. This is just an introduction to the next page. Yeah. So PR process. So PR process starts from preparing the English examination. And gets training from a reputed institution. Second, submission of educational transcript for credential assessment to the World Education Services from universities and double graduation and additional 25 points towards the CRSS course. And first, just for the information, the institute and we together are working with the WES for getting recognition for a chartered accountant as a postgraduate. They are not recognizing us as a postgraduate as other the countries are recognizing. So even we have taken up this matter to the ministry also. So this process will take time. So that is also being worked by the chapter. And then you have to submit the detailed experience for your employment. And this is the basically initial process, and everybody has to go online and they can see lot of things. Because of the time restrictions, I'm just getting you the brief. And next page, please. This is a Canadian CPA and Indian CPA. We have a MOU. I'm just going in a brief. There are links, and you can ask the Pradeep for these links. He can forward the presentation to the people. So we have a MOU where if you have a 2 years of experience, you are just supposed to give the CFE examination, the final examination. That is a 3-day examination. So that 3-day examination once are held every 6 months. So if you are able to qualify within that period, you become CPA. Earlier it was a 2.5-year process. So with the help of chapter, we have negotiated this MOU and we have gone through it. So there is a like Canada is a very simplified process. Here you have to just register online. Once you have a work permit or PR, even you can register sitting in India. And I will advise you people to do it because it will save time. Once you are registered, you can come here. Chapter is going to help you. We have classes. We give the classes. We have examiners who basically prepares you. We have a full support system. So we advise you to go through it. Yeah. Thank you, Pradeep. So I was asked to basically see what is the basically advice to our people. So my advice to the people are like I have been in practice since 1986 to 2000, and I was under the impression that audit, taxation, and company law is only field where we can expand. In 2000, I joined an international firm. That was a consulting firm as an Asia controller. Within a year of my joining, the sweater. His name was, the sweater was taken over by Jacobs. And it was an engineering company. And most of the experts, including CMD International, decided to leave and started new highway consulting firm, and working culture of the sweater, because the working culture of the both the firm was not matching. In consulting, you need both expert as well as a company who has done similar type of work. During this period, we team up with various international firms based on the project requirement, not only in India but also other part of the world. It has been flexible joint venture, consortium and association. Over the period, I find it is not only we need association, also the international firms need association to expand in our country. With the firm who has expert and who has a local experience, the international firms get associated with them for the future work. And today that group that we started has more than 500 employees with their presence in 7 countries. Similarly, we also formed a financial advisory consulting firm for a partnering chartered accountant firm for taking up the financial modeling, PPP projects in highway sectors. Today, that firm expanded by associating with various firms, national as well as international, not only in public-private partnership, but there is a different type of opportunities like lenders engineers, safety audit, techno-economic visibility, feasibility studies of various sectors. And that firm has more than 200 employees and is known as a leading firm in India as a techno-financial legal firm and competing with a large big firms. So it is not that there are not opportunities available. It is a matter of how you have expert, you have a collaboration and other things. So my advice to the people are that you make a professional network, make a right associate with the right type of the people. Once you have a good professional network, then you have a good work and you can expand yourself. Recently, we have formed an international, recently, I found 3-4 opportunities, one in Tanzania, one in Mauritius, and we gone with a local chartered accountant from there. With our expertise and their expertise, we have been able to shortlist. So the professional network is just like muscles. The more you exercise it, it becomes stronger. So it can be expanded. With more than 42 chapters now worldwide, we chartered accountants have now across all over world. Our CA friends worldwide had variety of experience in the field of information technology, infrastructure development solution, power sector, and can take up any work worldwide. Our endeavor should be to facilitate regional firms and expertise which they need to making flexible association, enhancing their capabilities, optimizing their cost, improving efficiency to make them global organization and global accountant. With these, I am thankful to all of you people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us, and your words are really full of immense knowledge, and you have rightly picked that the good professional networking is the need of the hour. If you really want to grow, the networking, that's why new rules in the India also they are in very much in the highlight today. We are having a networking and a multidisciplinary with the ICAI, CES and advocates too. Now I request Ratan sir to formally introduce C. Gagan Gujral ji, the past chairman of New York chapter USA.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. आपने जो बताया, sorry, Vijay sir told me a wonderful discussions about the topic. How can we migrate to Canada? And this is a very energetic and vital information for all of us who want to visit Canada and regarding the MIU and dollars. Now, CA Gagan sir is an accomplished chartered accountant and certified public accountant, offering 25 plus years of progressive audit and risk management experience. He is subject matter expert with an professional understanding of US GAAP, IFRS, and SACS rules and regulations. As a customer-focused driven leader, he is able to successfully orchestrate complex relationships and work environments, inspiring greater loyalty and fewer conflicts using superior management skills. C.A. Gagan sir served as a chairman of a New York chapter and always played significant role in ICAI initiative in USA. Thank you very much, sir. We have you with us.
Thank you very much. CA Sonia ji, CA Vijay, other members here, thanks for giving me this opportunity. I think majority of the members there today as speakers, I worked with most of them, starting back from days in Dubai when, even C. Pradeep just joined there and we met. So it reminds me today of a match of India versus Zimbabwe in Sharjah when Sachin Tendulkar and Saurav Ganguly started the match. That was the only match in Sharjah which India won with 10 wickets. And majority of the batting was done by, Sachin and leaving nothing for Saurav Ganguly. So I think using the same analogy here, I think Vijayji has covered majority of the things, so I have very little to do now. And as some of you know, Vijayji always been a good friend and mentor. We work closely on few things. So thank you, Vijayji. So as we all know, whether it's working in one country or the another country, some of the basic principles are the same. So I think Vijayji has touched upon few things. So I will restrict myself to certain specifics of US economy so that, those can be considered by the members who are viewing this program. The first thing I would touch a couple of thoughts, right? The first thing I always, come across, and especially the members ask, is how big or how vast are the opportunities available in the US. No doubt US is one of the biggest economies. So one thing I would like to tell especially the younger members is it does not matter, right? The opportunities are so much, and within the profession, which I've learned from my mentors, Vijayji has alluded to that point, although he didn't say explicitly. I've heard this from the past chairman of the ICAI. I have heard this from the CEO of one of the global accounting firms, right? That they don't compete with each other. So the opportunities are so much. I think in the profession, we have to supplement each other, right? Even take a small example. You are working in a small state where there are only 500 individuals are filing the returns. Even if someone goes, the value addition can be done. It's not always the saturation. So I think the people who are thinking to migrate, they should not fear about what are the opportunities. Wherever we go, the opportunities are, there. And it reminds me of what my grandfather used to tell me. I lived in a very unique environment, home environment, I would say. When my grandfather migrated from Pakistan, he set up a house which has 4 apartments, so as to say. My father and his 3 brothers were living. I grew under the joint family. The 2 of my cousins were fighting when they went to college, which particular product for the family business they want to sell. And my grandfather counseled them both and say, don't worry, there are enough opportunities. Go, one should do the South India and one should do the North India, right? Or, even the product within the company, you can split it. So I think that principle still resonates in my mind, and it's valid for equally our profession. I hear people saying that, okay, we have 400,000 CPAs in US, in addition to India being the second largest, 300 or somewhere between 250 and 300. It doesn't matter. Even if it's a 700,000, tomorrow even become the 7 million accountants, there's enough work, there's enough opportunity. And I would say for the members, I think that's important. So leave aside that fear, especially when you are considering, migrating. The other point which I keep on answering to a lot of members who are thinking or contemplating of working in US is, what is the immigration policies, how to move, right? I understand and I will acknowledge that immigration last few years have been a little tough, right? At least as is perceived in the media. Things are probably again changing. Again, I would say in the past, even if it was perceived to be tough, all the candidates, all the deserving candidates, whether it's through the family immigration or through the employer immigration, they got them if they do their homework correctly. So that's very important. Again, it's one of the principles which my grandfather used to say when we were living in a joint family, that he would encourage us not to do joint business in a joint family together, right? In other words, I think the conclusion he was drawing always was they should be, there should not be resistance to change, but at one point there should not be many changes. So keeping in with that same principle, I would encourage the members, right, if they are moving, right, from one country to another, always keep that in mind. You don't want to, shake everything together at the same time. I got a lot of queries, with some other, Rakesh Jain is one of the person, Vijay Gupta ji is one of the persons, right? We deal with these situations, right? I would encourage people to be, taking changes one at a time, right? For example, I moved I moved and worked in 5 different countries at 5 different points of time. So whenever I was moving, right, I was making sure, right, that some of the things are kept stable. You can't change everything. The best example was immediately after my marriage, I moved to US, right? But the one thing I kept stable was I used the same employer so that the changes are minimal. I think that's very important when you come to move from one country to another. We should make sure the life is stable to a certain extent. Another thing which I keep on hearing about is how to pass the AICPA exam. So one thing I would like to add here is the AICPA here in US is little different than the education structure we have in the India in the form of ICAI. Here it's very decentralized. For a CPA to be licensed, you need 3 E's: experience, examination, and education. And education can easily be done, not a problem. People come here and do their additional credits, masters, etc. Right? Experience, most of us have in India that sometimes may not be recognized. We have some suggestions there. It would be helpful, right, if anyone who is interested, reach out to us, because it's very state specific. Here we have like a central sales tax and a local sales tax. I'm talking about the old regime, right? Every state board of accountancy is different, has a different rules. It's not like a centralized like ICAI. With that said, the exam portion, which is the most important, right, is now very flexible. It's convenient. Majority of you would know it's a CBT exam. You can select the dates of your exam. It's a 4 exams. You can pass out, based on your own flexibility. That's not a problem. So with that said, to conclude, I think the one starting point for the persons who are interested in doing the AICPA or the CPA here is, get your exam started, work with the local chapters, right? And, they will help you out in finding out the experience requirements, will connect to the right people where the experience can be enhanced, which is a US-based experience. There's a lot of cross-certification rules, meaning that even if you have worked in India, right, under certain circumstances, under certain qualified persons, that experience will count as the experience in US for the purpose of submission of your license. And also, in the overall scheme of things, right, when you're moving, you don't want to be licensed in one day. It takes time, right? It takes, if you have to budget, there's a gestation period, 6 to 8 months, right, before you get your education and the certification. So this initiative of different chapters and different centers in US was started by us in 2008 and 9. It was done on a very informal basis, but I think Vish has done a wonderful job in making it very formalized. We have chapters and the regional offices across the America now. So you have the database. Previously, it used to be, call will come to me and I will find out, uh, for example, Sanjay Agarwal in Boston, and connect to the person. But now it's becomes more formal, so it's easy now for the persons interested in moving here to talk directly with the person. So reach out to the respective teams. That would be helpful. The last thought I would say is, when someone from India moves here, right? There we have a tendency to do a lot of things at the same time, right? Here also, that there's no limit to the skill sets you want to add to your base. With that said, when the work is being done, I think the focus is on the specialization. I think Vijayji used a different word, expertise. I think the specialization. So once the project is taken, I think for that particular project, specialization is focused and is considered very big in US. That's one thing. And the other thing which is very important here is the communication, right? The example which I give always is, if I have to tell my client, and which I'm going to tell tomorrow, that I'm not going to meet his deadline of August 31 in delivering an audit opinion, I will communicate to him first thing 9 a.m. on Monday, rather than he's thinking that the report is coming on Tuesday, August 31 at 5 p.m. and he calls me and say, no, report is not ready. So communication is very important, right? There's a joke here. They say, even if you commit a crime, even if you commit a murder and you communicate before you committing a murder, it will be not considered as a murder. So with that said, I think I may have skipped a couple of minutes up in the time budget allotted to me. I will hand over back and happy to answer any questions later or now, or everyone has the email addresses of all the speakers, so happy to work any way you guys want. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, question we will be taking up in the last at the end, but I must say the way you convey the things and there are the few traits of your personality that is reflected in your interaction also, that is the jolliness is there. And now it's really a pleasure that today we got the opportunity to interact with the galaxy of intellectuals who are really a superlative in their fields. And among them, now I am going to introduce another star, that is a C. Ganesh Sharma, Sir, Chairman, British Columbia, Vancouver Chapter, Canada. C. Ganesh has extensive global experience managing complex projects in IT, audit, information security, internal audits, and operational audits, IDGS, compliance within government, private sector, professional and commercial organization. Knowledge of control framework, examples, COSO, COBIT, CIS, etc. It is CISA, CISSP, CISM, CIA, Cyber Security Audit, ISACA certified, CA India, and SAP certified solution consultant. I think, sir, there hardly remain any degree which remain unleft from your excellence. He also served as a security intelligence technologist, teaching security intelligence at Red River College, Winnipeg. Ganesh sir is accredited by IBM, having passed their exam in the field. He is serving as a chairman, British Columbia chapter of ICAI. He is the membership director at ICACA and ICAI Winnipeg chapter. He is a member advisory committee at School of Business, Information Technology and Creative Arts at Red River College. So it's a great privilege that we are having such an eminent personality with us today. And now from the next galaxy of intellectual, we have another star is CA Ritesh Desai, sir. He's the secretary of the Toronto chapter, Canada. He's a banker with over 10 years experience and ability to influence positive change in the organization and keep a large team of diverse individuals highly motivated. He is a specialist in risk-based audit approach, compliance, risk control, and internal control, who is constantly performing audit work and compliance monitoring activities to preempt control failures by positive intervention in business operations with focus on key risk indicators, that is positive intervention before there is a major lapse. While managing audit team, he has covered audit of regulatory compliances and credit proposal and credit administration in wholesale and retail banking and general banking and operation in various geographies. His wide and deep banking experience is made more meaningful by my serious understanding of what the regulator expects across the different countries in the developed and developing countries. He is serving as a secretary of a Toronto chapter and has made significant difference in ICAI initiative in Canada over past many years. So it's really an honor that you have spared your valuable time for us. Now another star is the CA Gitika Ramakrishna chairperson. Ma'am, it's really a privilege being a female to honor another female. That she is the chairperson of San Francisco chapter USA, a chartered accountant and a CPA with over 25 years experience in the F&A space. Starting off with several years at a big four accounting firm, she spent many more helping large multinationals set up their financial organization and meet their finance and fiduciary goals. She is a member of several corporate and not-for-profit boards. Lisa has studied and worked both in the USA and Canada and has made the transition multiple times between the two geographies. Today, her professional and business interests span across North America and Asia, and she is the current chairperson and a founding member of ICAI San Francisco. During her time in office, the chapter played a major role in expanding the presence of ICAI in the US, having catalyzed and assisting in the formation of 7 chapters and red tape offices.
Representative.
Girls are really doing wonders in everywhere, and your profile is so inspiring. And another one we are having the star is the Rajashekar Reddy Nalya, Chairman Dallas Chapter USA. He is a fellow member of the ICAI and a founder, chairman and director chapter of ICAI. He is also a licensed certified public accountant and an entrepreneur. Rationala is an experienced management consultant and a trusted business advisor. He has over 20 plus years of experience transforming organizations, providing technical accounting, transaction advisory, mergers and acquisition, financial due diligence, and business strategy consulting services across industry to public, private, and non-profit organizations. He specialized in complex accounting subject matters and capital markets, IPOs, SPAs, merger, and similar other transactions. He has a wide professional stints at WPC, Deloitte, and other global consulting firms for about 20 years before starting his own company based out at Dallas, TX. So it's really again an pleasure for us to have you with us. Now I request Ritan sir to please formally introduce the another stars from the galaxy today.
Thank you very much, Sonia ma'am. Now I want to introduce CA Sanjay Agarwal sir. I just read sir profile. Actually, he is represent India, indirectly India member in the US administration. CA Sanjay Agarwal sir is a senior director of public affairs at American Tower Corporation. In this role, he represents the company before Principal International Trade Association and the US Presidential Administration. He coordinates American Towers US site leadership at the US India CEO Forum from 2015 to 2020. He leads the company's engagement with multilateral organizations, including World Economic Forum and the United Nations. He also worked with the company international public affairs leaders to coordinate global public affairs and organize the company's US state and local engagement at the corporate level. In addition, he leads the policy research on American Towers innovation projects in the automotive industry, primarily focusing on the role of natural host infrastructure in connected and electronic vehicles. Prior to joining American Tower in 2010, he worked at E&Y and global accounting firm in their Middle East and Boston office for over 13 years. Sanjay is a chartered accountant and certified public accountant and holds an MBA from University of Massachusetts and First and bachelor degree in accounting from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University. Now, I welcome CA Pawan Sarda sir, founding chairman, Houston Chapter USA. CA Pawan is a highly accomplished, has strong business acumen, and is result driven with over 15 years of progressive experience in finance management. He has helped business operations to drive growth, gain efficiency, and bottom line profit. He has experience in different industry segments like distribution, manufacturing, O&G, project-based, data and software licensing, private equity, global and multinational companies. CA Pawan sir has played significant role in formation of Boston chapter, and he is currently serving as founding chairman of the chapter. Thank you, sir. And I all the request all the members ki founder member of any chapter is itself a great opportunity you have. And now CA Mukuldas Pai, founding chairman, Washington DC chapter, USA. CA Gokul Pai is a chartered accountant qualified in November 2004, scoring 33rd rank All India rank in CA final. He is originally from Bangalore, India, and is currently in Washington DC. He is also the current and founding chairperson of Washington DC chapter of ICAI. He is working for the World Bank as a specialist, providing support to various World Bank operations in different countries, including Nigeria, Somalia, Iraq, Bangladesh, Malawi, and etc. Before World Bank, he was worked in companies such as Bharti Airtel, Mode Analysis, and etc. He has also done his CP and MBA from US and Master in Economic Policy from University of London. Thank you very much, sir. And we have your time with us. And now, last but not least, CA Gaurav Jain sir, founding chairman, Chicago chapter of USA. CA Gaurav Jain sir currently manage financial system of Valgreen Boots Alanis, a Fortune 50 company. In his role, he managed the last leg of system that help publish result to the markets and the CEC. Before switching career to technology, he has worked at Equinor, Zuckerberg, and similar company in different industries. He has been in USA for past 16 years. CA Gaurav sir has played significant role in formation of Chicago chapter, and he is currently serving as founding chairman of the chapter. Thank you very much, sir, and thanks all the galaxies we are having with us. Sonia ma'am, hand over to you.
Thank you, Ratan sir. And today it's really, a great time. Reason because the webinar today is embellished with the presence of the scholarly, intellectual, and I must say the unimpeachable experts we are having today. So, sir, for starting the question answer session to all the panelists, the first question is the general one. What makes a young CA eligible to work in your organization? What homework should the young professional do when they aim to relocate to North America? So, sir, it will be great if we first hear from CA Ganesh, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. So, first of all, I would like to thank everyone at ICAI, the branches, the chapters, Sonia Arora, Prabdeep Singh, and also most importantly, the members who are attending this webinar, because this is meant for you, and I assume and I strongly recommend that you should be taking the benefit of this webinar to the maximum extent possible. So having said that, then I would want to say, like, we at British Columbia chapter of ICAI here in Vancouver, friends or our brothers and sisters, we are always available for you if you need any help regarding immigrating here, regarding job opportunities here, or anything you need. I am personally available for any help that you might need. So that's the second thing. So please feel free, and my email is available with Prabdeep, and he can say it with whomsoever they want, and they're happy. They can connect with me. So now coming to the question, like what will prepare a young CA for working in an organization like mine? So, and again, like this takes me back to what Vijay said, what Gagan also said. So basically the thought process, the thought idea would be the same, but still I would like to make them specific so that you can understand it better and accordingly prepare yourself. So, friends, I would say a couple of words 3 times, which is prepare well before immigrating to Canada. So that's a key thing. For working in my organization, you need to kind of prepare yourself in the field that in which you are specializing. For example, in my case, when I came to Canada in 2010, way back here, and that time I had diversified into information technology, IT auditing, information security, those areas. So I'm giving this only as an example. Like if you want to, or if you specialize in IT, then you must be preparing yourself for the IT field, and you must obtain the necessary certifications. For example, myself, as Sonia already mentioned, I got the CISA, I got DISA also, the Diploma in Information System Auditing from State Institute. I mean, in fact, that's what I started with, and then there was no ending. Then I obtained each and every one after that. So I'm into IT, and that's what I'm advising. Like, please pick up your field, whatever field you are in. You are in accounting, you're in internal audit, you're in IT. So whatever field you are specializing in, pick up that and obtain this certification, very necessary. That is number two. Number thing I would want to say, like, please do improve your communication skills. And this also Gagan was mentioning earlier, and he said, like, tell people in advance. So he was giving a different perspective to speak, like, you should be communicating in time. So, but what I'm trying to say here, you should be communicating right, not only in time, but rightly also. You should be, what you are communicating is, that is what the listener or the receiver should be interpreting it that way. So you have to be very, very good at communications. Next point, I would say you want to be working hard. So, like, I don't want to say things for other countries, like, but definitely here, if you're coming here, you have to be very, very hardworking. Like, for example, I'm working with the government here, and probably way back in India, people have impression that government job is relatively easier. But my friends, no, it is not. So you need to be as much hardworking as a private sector for working with the government as I'm working here. And I think those are the few things I would want to say. Those are the key things for you to succeed in an organization like mine here. I think that answers your question, Sonia. If there's any follow-up question, I'm happy to answer that too.
And so the same question I would like to say Ritesh sir also to say a few words on this. Ritesh sir, what's your
Thank
view
you.
on this for the young?
Yeah. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Ganeshji, all the panel members, and welcome to all the participants. Thank you for the opportunity for having us here. So, to your question, I would actually, just expand on what Ganeshji has already said, and also what Vijayji has expressed. Very similar thing, communication. Also, I would say work on your transferable skills. I think I work for Bank of Montreal, which is one of the big four banks in Canada, and I specialize in internal audit, even within there, only in anti-money laundering and anti-terror financing. So it's a little bit different from the regular accounting and taxation. So it's not that I was trained or anything on that, but what I had was skills. What does a CA have? Primary skills is critical analysis, your documentation skills, your ability to communicate clearly, concisely, and get to the key point, and focus on the key indicators, the risk indicators. So I think those are some key attributes. What kind of skills that you have, and demonstrate to my company or whichever company you're going, and say, okay, this is what I bring. I may not have experience in Canada or my company. This is what I have. This is how I can deliver, and this is how I can bring value to your organization to move it forward, and also make the necessary change. Also, there's a lot of focus. I wouldn't say that it was never there, it was always there, but now there's a lot more emphasis on an efficiency, like how you can deliver the product, the output in the most efficient way. Everybody is struggling with cost, and especially with the pandemic, things have just imploded. So there's heavy emphasis on that. So if you can demonstrate that this is what I can get you in the most efficient manner and in the most effective and rightful manner, I think that's what will make you stand out. That's it from me, Sonia.
Great, sir. So the same question, C. Sanjay sir, you want to adjust on this or add on this question? Hey, Sanjay sir.
Hey, Sonia, thank you so much for the question. Thank you, Pradeep and Ritan and ICA for the opportunity and my fellow panelists. So I think a lot of the good advice has been given. I don't think I have a lot more to add. But one thing I would say is what we get when we get trained as chartered accountants, as Ritesh just said as well, there are lots of foundational skills that we learn. And as you're looking to transition, and I would say that's within India, outside of India, you're coming to the US. One thing I see from a lot of young chartered accountants is they say, hey, this is what I do. Now find me a job. And I think one of the things I will advise these young professionals and experienced professionals is it's not anybody else's job to find you a job. So do the work, learn about the country, learn about the organization to your specific question of what do I look for when I hire in my organization. I am looking for them to have done some work. Do they know what we do? In chartered accountants, I expect they should know how to read a balance sheet. They should know how to read a financial statement. They should have already done a lot of that work. And I'm surprised when so many of them show up and they really have no clue. They know broadly what the company does, but when you start asking questions, they have not taken the time to do that work. So back to what every other panelist has said, I think preparation is key. And present to the organization why you are a good fit for them. Specifically, what do you bring to them? How will you make them successful? I think that would be my one advice, and everything else that others have said, of course. Networking with others, spend the time, and I will offer myself up as well. If you are looking to learn and you say, hey, I want to do this, I am an accountant, I want to go into stock picking, I want to work at a venture capital firm, I want to work in IT. You don't always need to know that going in, but once you have set your intention and your goal, that's where you need to connect with people who have done similar things. And in the New England chapter, and I know in other chapters as well, we have a lot of chartered accountants who are doing all kinds of stuff. They're not all auditors, they're not all tax people. A lot of them are entrepreneurs, very successful entrepreneurs. They have started up AI, ML, RPA, fintech, biotechs, you name it. So reach out and use the network. Ask the question, prepare, and then go to the organization and make yourself more desirable. So that would be my advice, and happy to answer any follow-up questions. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Sonia, can I add something here to what Sanjay said?
Sure, sir, sure.
No, thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. This is a very valid point you brought up, like you need to sort of make yourself fit or how to serve the organization you're looking to work for. And this reminded me a prospective employer who approached me rather. And these guys are having operations in Mexico or South America, like Argentina, those places. And why they called me, the idea was that I speak a bit of Spanish also, because I have been traveling to that part of the world and I learned Spanish over a 3 years period. So these guys were very impressed, and all I'm trying to say to the youngsters who want to come to this part of the world, if they can add another language, that could be French in case of Canada, that could be Spanish if they are likely traveling to, say, South America, that would be a wonderful, a very, very strong asset. So, yeah, I wanted to add that. Thank you.
Great, sir. And Geeta ma'am, you also want to add on the same?
Sure. So first of all, let me add my thanks, like the rest of my fellow panelists, to you and Prabdeep for bringing this program and inviting us on it. Also, a very big welcome to everybody watching us. I don't have very much to add. I think those that have gone before me have said it all. But just in case it sounds daunting, I will tell you that there is no better time than now, right? The awareness of chartered accountants, of Indian chartered accountants, especially in North America, is exploding. It didn't used to be the case 20 years ago when we came here first. When we had to educate the general public. That is no longer the case. Number two, there are many chartered accountants now who are in positions of influence and seniority. So really, we are here as your ambassadors. Already in the US, for example, several chapters, including ours, have partnerships with accounting firms such as BDO or Eisner Ampner, where they directly take young chartered accountants on into the organization. And even in my former organization, PwC, it was possible for Indian chartered accountants to directly come in right up to the level of manager without actually qualifying to be a CPA. I think it's a great time. I think there are lots of opportunities. Like the others have said, communication is key. And really, you need to market yourself because it's not like in India where everybody is sometimes awed by your being a chartered accountant. Being a chartered accountant is such a difficult attainment that, most people are like, oh, if you're a chartered accountant, you really must be the cat's whiskers. That's not the case here. You really need to market yourself. And the second thing that I will say is international awareness. We live in an extraordinary time. You are not bound by your geography. You're not bound by the fact that you are in India. Information is so widely available. Awareness. And so the flip side of that is people expect you to be aware. People expect you to be aware of not just individual organizations like Sanjay was saying. If you're applying to them, you better do your research. But also generally more about, what's happening in North America, what's happening in the world. This is an easy win. It's easy to get. And I encourage everybody listening that you get started on it because it's not, a one-day affair or a one-week affair. This will probably take some time. So ease into it. Your international awareness sensors should go up. And that's something that, we should be working on. And that's it from me.
Great. Rasa, you also want to say something on the same?
Sure. Thank you for having me, first of all, Sonia ji, Pradeep ji, and all my fellow panelists. Lot have been said, so some of it that I'm going to say is going to be a repetition. But I do have a couple of points, and I'll take a step back here. Before even addressing members, I would like to say something to the students, right? So we are asking what are the opportunities that are available across the globe. There are opportunities that are available in your own backyard. For example, one thing I will ask all the students to do is do your articleship very sincerely. Okay, that is the number one experience that you can get. That is where you start building your network, and that is where you start building your communication skills. A lot of the times I see students focusing on passing the exam, and after passing the exam, you get to the market and you market yourself as CA. But if you don't have the required skills, it's very difficult. And I assume the same thing in Indian scenario. If you are unable to sell yourself in India, it's very difficult to sell anywhere else. Because in India, you call yourself a CA. If you are looking from the US perspective, it's going to be even more difficult. That's one. So students, please do your articles very sincerely. Then members, young members or anybody that is looking at US, couple of points have been well made here. One of the important thing to do or understand is networking skills, communication skills. And I'll put the communication skills in a different way. Of course, one thing that was addressed is the timeliness of how you communicate. The other aspect of communication is how concise you can be. Can you articulate a big paragraph in 2 sentences? Okay. When a client calls you, can you give them a comfort in 30 seconds? That's what your specialization comes into play. And that's a point what was well made by Jaganji also is specialize. You need to be known for something. Don't ask what I am getting. If you offer, people always look here like, what do you offer? What do you offer in me here? Okay. And you don't ask for a job. You say what is your skill and you automatically get the job. Okay. So that's something I want to emphasize because all the time you keep saying, okay, what I'm going to get. And I'm a CA. Everybody knows you are a CA. As soon as you see the degree, that's fine. But what else can you bring to the company? What value addition can you do? So those are the couple of points. So communication, network, sincerity to the work that you do, and let me tell you, it is very Geeta ji rightly said, you need to market yourself here. Nobody is going to give you a job just because you are a CPA, okay, or just you are a CA. Everybody is a CA, we know that. Everybody is a CPA, we know that. We called you because we saw the certificate, but after that. That 5-10 minutes in the beginning will tell whether what you are going to do for the company. What is your value addition? So very well to be noted and to be learned from the student stage is marketing yourself, sell your skill. And a lot of time, I'll take one more minute here, is people ask me, okay, how do I network? How do I become specialist? Networking is very simple. For example, in Jalandhar branch, I will ask how many of you know Sonia ji personally, right? So if you don't know her, that's where you start. How many of you are networking with ICAI? You know, ICAI is doing some wonderful things in India and across the globe. How many are you networking with Pradeep Ji Singh? Right? So, you know, these are the people that are available 24/7. Start networking even in your area. Then next question is how do you specialize? Very simple. We have how many 8 papers or 9 papers, right? So you pick your topic, you know, whether it is, and you know, by the time you pass the CA, what is your specialization? If you don't know, then you need to start picking a topic and start going from there. And there are, like a lot of our fellow panelists said, CS are not restricted to one area like what it was when I started. Now, if you think from US perspective, and we are seeing a tremendous amount of growth in entrepreneurial thought process, and think in that direction. You know, don't think about how many jobs you can build. Okay, start working in that space. So you are not asking for a job; you are creating jobs. So CS, I feel we can do a lot. Sometimes we just hold back. So I'll push yourself to the boundary. So you create an opportunity, and let me call you and say, okay, what is there? So with that, I stop. And thanks for the opportunity.
Great, sir. So this is, I think, the webinar is the the start for the networking one also. Now we can't say you don't know Sonia. Even I know all of you from today, I think. And now my next question is from Gaurav, sir. So Indians here are working in almost all the sectors here in North America. However, it would be great if you can throw light on some of the new developing sectors in the country where you are located. We shall
Sure. So, sure, Sonia ji. So, first of all, let me thank you, Sonia ji, Prab Singh ji to you, Ritan ji to you, and Mansukh ji to you as well for all the support and help that you're giving us for this session. Good morning, fellow panelists, and I hope waking up too early in the morning wasn't too bad for Geeta, right? And Ganesh ji. I think it's like 6:30 or so when they started. Anyways, so what are the new things that are coming up? So first thing, of course, I think Sanjay ji covered some of them, which is one is you have a lot of entrepreneurial spirit that's possible in this country now, and with those entrepreneurial spirits, you can essentially work on things like biotech. You can work on things like fintech, etc. There's a lot of new opportunities coming in over there. The second very big opportunity that I'm seeing is not in the fintech, but just in general technology area. The accountants can actually play a very huge role. In fact, one of the strong suggestions I do have is know at least one coding language. Okay, so in your linguistic skills, as you're increasing, you add French, you add Spanish, you possibly add German or Portuguese or whatever you want, and then you add Python or Java or VB.NET, because what that does is it takes your career and your ability to the next level. There's a huge gap between the IT world and the financial world still existing. And it is people like us. I mean, I myself moved from being a CA to being a technologist. So it's people like us who can essentially move and then create a bridge between the financial world and the technical world. So that's one another very good area or of aspect. The third thing is that there is, of course, a lot of research happening even at international level in accounting, finance, and those fields. So even that is a very good area for people to get into. And the last, I think that would make. Yeah, I think no, I think I'm done. Yeah.
Great, sir. So, Gokul sir, do you want to please throw light on the same question?
Sure. Thank you, Sonia, and thanks to all organizers for inviting me. Yeah. So just to add on, I'm coming from Washington DC, and some of the things which are specific to this part of United States is, and some of the sectors where the career can be built, especially for chartered accountants. Just some of the main areas which are common here are federal government, and additionally we have professional services, which is good, healthcare, life sciences, real estate, retail, technology, and hospitality. But I would like to specifically highlight on one area which this part of the world is very common is on the international organizations, which is what Washington DC is known for. We have World Bank, IMF, and New York, we have United Nations, and additionally, we have a lot of other policy organizations, think tanks, NGOs, which give policy advice to the government, and also federal government as well. So to just to upgrade the skills which are required to get into these kind of organizations is like it's a huge organization. So it depends like what exactly a young person wants to do. As a chartered accountant, obvious easiest choice is to get into the core accounting and back office functions, which are into things like finance and accounting, budgeting, resource management, and these are the areas which does not need any additional. Other people have already discussed what is required additional to networking and the core skills and having a unique proposition as a chartered accountant. And there are also back office operations in India, Chennai, Delhi, Mumbai, which takes care into get into those constantly monitor the job, do the networking, and get into it. But I would like to highlight on the other part of this development organization, which is the front line, the core operations, which is into managing the project teams of these international organizations and getting into policy and those kind of roles in these international organizations. So probably CA, chartered accountancy as a course lays a solid foundation, but that itself may not be sufficient because a lot of CAs would like to get into this field, but may not exactly know how to get into. So probably we have a lot of CAs here who have excelled in this field and who are doing really well today. But what made them get into is probably CA as a standalone may not be sufficient, but it lays a very solid foundation because once you do CA, then nothing is impossible. That's what any course in the world becomes. We saw in the introduction section today, a lot of CAs around here have so many other degrees, but if you ask any of them, they will say and agree that CA is something which laid the foundation and then others become much more easier. So to get into these other fields, what is also required is to get an additional degree, especially these international organizations look into specific expertise into any of them. It could be public policy or economics, any of these areas which you want. So you want to see like get in touch with any of the employees who's already working in these organizations through LinkedIn and then see what are the various roles they can get as a young professional, and then get into some masters and probably a PhD in some of the reputed universities, either in India or in US or UK, anywhere, get these additional expertise so that you build credibility into this. Additionally, the organizations such as World Bank has something called a Young Professional Program, which anyone below 35 years of age should keep an eye on. and should strongly apply for that. Every year they have this program where they recruit in batches people below 35 years of age, and you can apply it every year till you get it. And details on this will be advertised in the bank's website, and there is also job portals which you can track. Other than that, it's very important to keep a track on all that is happening in the world of development. Everything what our government does, not just Indian government, but also throughout the world, just what's happening across the globe, what's happening in the global economy, GDP forecast, what's happening in different countries, monetary and fiscal policies. So organizations such as World Bank, OECD, IMF keeps publishing monthly, quarterly monitoring reports on everything what is happening in different countries, including India and other countries. So it's important to keep a track on what's happening and position yourself as an expert in this field. Continuously keep reading newspapers such as Financial Times, The Economist, and also other information web on what is happening in the world of development and economy. And finally, what is very important is, as CA Ganesh already said, the language, because most of these organizations, especially World Bank, IMF, have operations in different countries across the globe, especially Latin America, Francophone Africa, East Asia. So it's important to have multiple language skills, because that will surely give a strong edge. Spanish, French is no-brainer. That is will surely give an edge, because many job openings which come in these organizations, if you see, they will see that preferred language among the candidates is Spanish or French. So I'll end it there, and in case there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone from the panelists want to add on for this question? Anything left for that? Anything in your mind you want to add on for the same
I
question?
want to say something here, Sonia. I know, it's not a developing sector like for the youngsters, but I would definitely want to say there are opportunities here in Canada, like you can even teach. So teaching could be something which they could consider if they have interest and inclination. So this is also one of the fields I would want to say. And thankfully, I got some opportunities, and which is why I want to say that with you guys.
Okay. So the next
Sonia,
question is...
Sonia,
sir.
sorry if I can just add on to what.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, I would say another aspect that is really growing a lot of momentum here is ESG, and especially climate risk. So there's a lot of emphasis on that, and you see a lot of people, a lot of companies investing into that. And over the period, it is going to become a big sector, especially with the 2050 target of net zero and net carbon neutral and all of those things. So how companies are coming out of their evaluating their carbon footprint and how we are managing that, and from a good, healthy corporate citizen, how are we demonstrating our contribution towards the 2050 goal? So that's another big sector that is evolving. So that's my advice to the fellow chartered accountants if they want to consider.
Great, sir. So the next question from starting with the Ganesh sir. Sir, from a professional certification chartered accountant, it sounds that we are accountants. But the fact is that there are numerous fields that we can contribute. So what are the skills or specialization you would suggest the young generation to aim for in the modern times?
No, great. I think when you read my profile, I think the youngsters would know. So I would highly recommend going into the information security / cyber security, those fields, data analytics, and even privacy. I think those would be the key fields to go for, and I would repeat them. Like maybe you can start with the DISA in information security in India. Then you can graduate to CISA and other CSAM or CSSP, or then I would say even you can think about data analytics, which is there's a certificate called ACL Certified Data Analyst. ACD it is called. I think that would be a real good value addition to your profile, and you can sell yourself better. I think those would be key things, Sonia.
Great. And the same question is to the Geeta ma'am. Please, you want to add on under this?
Sure. So yes, you know what? We've never been just accountants, right? If you think about a chartered accountant's role, even in India, what we are business partners. We've always been the one that has analyzed business, that has analyzed data. We've been the data scientist. Now, they may give it different names now, but this has always been what we've done, right? We've taken the financials and we've taken business data and we've been business partners, right? So this needs to continue. We cannot see ourselves as merely accountants. So how do we take those old skills into the new era? Ganeshji is absolutely right. It's technology, and technology is everywhere. You look at things like, automation in accounting, in the accounting world, whether it's RPA, whether it's AI, ML, that's clearly the wave of the future. And this, it empowers us as finance specialists, but it could also pose a threat. We need to figure out which side of the fence, we want to be on. We need to be educated on these matters, whether it's, a certification that will help us acquire these skills, or whether, it's generally the amount of data and information that's available on these topics. This is something definitely that we should look at. So let me say it would be RPA, it would be AI, ML, it would be an understanding of big data. By some statistics here, over 50% of organizations are already somewhere in the line of employing big data, and pretty much everybody uses some kind of data analytics. So you should educate yourself, be aware, become a specialist in technology adoption, because everybody is doing it. The other thing I will offer up to those in our audience in India is that outsourcing continues to be a big thing. Of course, you want to come to the US, but I think there are enormous opportunities, especially in the post-pandemic world. Outsourcing is only going to grow. By some estimates, maybe by a CAGR of 8% year over year between now and the end of 2024. So those are your opportunities. Go out and get them. Thanks.
Sonia ji, I would like to add one thing. So basically, if I hear, all the panelists, I think the key theme is the, effective use of technology and the, automation, right? With that said, I think it's a little bit related to your question, a little bit not. You're saying, what are the skills, right? So I think even if you're core accountants today, right, things have changed. You need to be well versed with the technology and the I would say data analytics or the data mining is very important, even if you want to do an audit. For example, when I was doing my internship, I was being sent to a branch probably where there's one train in a day, right, in a small village for the bank audit, and we would select few yellow slips or the yellow vouchers for any debits being done to suspense account, which was a very key procedure, right? But in today's world, we don't need to do that. You just know how to do the data analytics, how many your suspense accounts have been debited, and you can, you can do sitting in Jalandhar, any branch in India. So I think the one skill set which is important is, you have to move along with the technology, you have to cope up with the technology. I think that's the key, whether you're a core accountant, you do IT related work, you do fintech, all the areas which other panelists have mentioned. I think the data analytics, data mining, and the core IT skills have to be enhanced, and it's very sometimes it's challenging to cope up with, especially, you were doing the things very differently 20 years ago. Now you want to do differently. But I think that's the need of the hour. You can't get away with that.
Great. Actually, sir, it's the time to upgrade basically. If you can't update with the technology, or I must say with the system we are having right now, then we lag behind. This is time to learn and relearn some things and again learn the another things. So the same question, Sanjay sir, you want to add, Raj sir, you want to add something in this question? Skill sets required.
Sure. Yeah, sure, Sonia. Thank you so much. And as Gagan and Geeta and Ganesh have already said, I think one of the things I will say to the students, and I say to a lot of my family members as well, I think when I graduated a long time ago, then I got my chartered accountancy, I think a lot of the people used to think about, I will start in this profession and this is what I will do for the rest of my life. I think people who are starting their careers now or early in their career, I would advise them to think about this as a 10-year increment. What you start now is probably what you will do for the next 10 years. And during that time, you will either have to pivot, upgrade, or go deeper, and then you will do that for the next 10 years. I think the days of you start with an accounting degree, as you said, we are accountants, and then you will be doing accounting for the next 40 years of your life. I think those days are behind us. For most professionals, this is really going to be, as Gagan was saying as well, you have to continue to upgrade. You have to continue to move with technology. And I'll tell you from my experience, I started as everybody else in audit for a long period of time. Then I went into international finance, went to tax, went into mergers and acquisitions, and now I'm in public policy. And that has nothing to do with accounting, except that, as others have said, my foundational skill that I've learned from my CA is problem solving. And one of the things that people should learn is how do you frame an issue? And you're not rattling off for 30 minutes without being able to explain what exactly you're talking about. If you can frame the issue, you can do the analysis, which chartered accountants should be one of the best in the world, and present a recommendation, then it's really not about what particular field you're working in. It's whatever you think your passion might be. So when I do my public policy now, I am working with the World Economic Forum as a fellow, as a rotation. I am talking about digital inclusion, talking about financial inclusion, and talking about healthcare inclusion in India, in Africa, in the US, in different parts, and really try to figure out where is the problem and how can we solve it. So that would be my advice. When all the great advice that's been given around IT and other skills, of course, you need to have very, very strong core skills, but then step back, look at the broader picture and see where do you fit in and where do you want to fit in. Don't think of yourselves as accountants. Think of themselves, as Geeta rightly said, as business partners, as the problem solvers, and then see where you want to take your career. I think that will really help young professionals and say, this is not something I'm stuck with for the rest of my life. I will reevaluate in 10 years. Maybe I'll stick with it. Maybe I'll do something else. And that's probably the direction where I see, especially in the US, and especially in the New England area, which is very entrepreneurial. We spit out new companies all the time, which go on to become multi-billion-dollar unicorns and decacorns. So that would be the way to think about it in my mind. Back to you, Sonia.
Thank you so much, sir. And now the next question is, all of you have spent a long time, more than a decade or so, and have reached to the top of the ladder in your respective organizations. So in the era of everyone wanting a quick assess, what would you like to tell the millennials about the strategy and application to progress up in their organization? So maybe you can share some leadership mantras, I must say, to all. So starting with Gaurav sir, what leadership mantras you will guide to all?
The leadership mantra, always know your basics. Okay. So way back when I got into my FI BCom, or rather 11th grade, and started learning accounting for the first time in my life, my professor told me, know your basics, rest all will come to you. Okay. So if you do not know your basics, if you do not know your turf that you are playing on, you cannot succeed. Success requires you to master the area that you're working in. So do not expect any kind of success if you cannot put in the hard work that you need to know the nitty-gritties of all the basics that we have, right? The second thing is, no leader works well without empathy. Empathy is one of the very key aspects of being a leader. And number three, of course, connected to empathy, is always put yourself into the other person's shoes, because guess what? A person who is junior to me today, well, I was junior at some point in time, and I was equally confused, equally jumping around, doing nothing, because, yeah, guess what? That's how I was at that time, right? So always work that way. Have compassion for yourself and for people. These are the core leadership skills that I kind of live with.
Yes, sir. You want to say something guide about the leadership mantras?
Yeah, hi, thanks. I would say to whatever Garoji added, I would just add apart from empathy and all would be team building. You need a core team. You cannot just do it everything by yourself. Otherwise, you'll lose focus on what really is the objective that you want to achieve. You need to have a vision. You need a core team, and make sure that the team buys your vision. Only then you will have a productive efforts, and everybody would work towards that vision. And when I say a team, doesn't mean that everybody should say, Haji, yes sir. No, you need to have a diverse background team so that people can bring a different perspective, provide enough effective challenge, and there's a healthy conversation, and then you work towards the common goal. So that's it from my side.
Great. And sir, Sanjay sir, other than empathy, team building, you want to add other, leadership mantras?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Sonia. I think all great advice by my fellow panelists. I think these are the kinds of things, and a lot of this you learn as you go, right? I mean, as we were talking about at the beginning as well, it's communication, it's your networking skills. And one of the things that I will say is, if you want to be an effective leader, is when people think about these, they have to say something, and that's communication. What I would also ask them to focus on is listening. And say, as a leader, you need to be able to listen and pay attention to what your team is doing, what are they saying to you, and what are they expecting of you, right? And give them and the other thing I will say is provide them opportunity to make decisions. And I'll tell you this little anecdote that I read somewhere, where a boss or a leader brings their kid into the office on one of these bring your daughter to work days. And the kid goes back and tells her mom, hey, dad is really powerful because nothing moves in his organization without his sign off. Everybody comes to him and asks him, what should we do next? That's not the leader you want to be. You want to be the leader who is outward looking, providing your team the opportunity, giving them and empowering them so they can make their own decisions. And that will make you as the leader more powerful. So that would be my advice. Back to you, Sonia.
Great. Shita ma'am, you want to add some leadership mantras in it?
Well, I don't have a leadership mantra specifically, but what I want to say is, taking leadership of your own career, right? One thing I would urge our listeners is take the long view. Your career, God willing, is going to span 40, maybe 50 years. And today, people are working way into their 70s even. So take that view and plan accordingly. I loved Sanjay's, what he said about the 10-year increments. One thing leads to another. And it's okay if you don't see short-term results. When I started out, the craze amongst everybody in my batch, was to get to a multinational, was to find the high-paying job. But when I look, when I look at my batch today, and I look at the people that actually took the long view and who are willing to set up a practice or work under somebody else, which maybe didn't pay off immediately, but over the long term, these things kind of work out, even out. Just be conscious and take leadership over your own career arc. That's it.
Anyone from Ras sir, Ganesh sir, Gokul sir want to add something for the leadership mantras? Shall I take to the another question?
Yeah, just a quick point on this, not specifically on the leadership, but on the other part of your question on progressing in the organization, especially because young people are listening and nobody will immediately come to leadership position, but should have the right strategy to progress of the organization. So starting with, I think these things are already added with the upskilling and showing what is your value add. But the important also thing is, which we very less highlight, is visibility, which a lot of chartered accountants are, especially in the younger days, are not so good at that. Will be really hardworking and will be too tied with the meeting the deadlines, but in the process forget the visibility and communication aspect of their work. So it's very important that a person should be as visible as possible in the organization. Additionally, having the right diplomacy and people management, because today's organization is a bit different because the teams are very well diverged compared to what was it in the past, and teams with different expectations, and so it's important to be having the right people management skill and having that diplomacy. And the most important thing in organization is always to ask, because the old thing is that the bosses or the managers will observe our hard work and reward on their own, but that never happens in many of the organizations. So it's also important to ask. So you'll never get something unless you ask, whether it's a promotion or a pay hike or a different job profile or something. It's always good to have a conversation. So these are some additional things I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay. The next question is, for sure, not everything is so rosy as people perceive about North America. This region has its own challenges and hardship that people face. I would like to speak about if you can start with, I think, Ganesh sir, we can start with you. So can you just speak out about peculiar challenges in your country that people should be braced for when they think of relocating? It may range from the weather conditions, labor laws, to socio-cultural atmosphere. Whatever you wish, you can share.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sonia, for that question also. So, first of all, I would like to say very highly encouraging words like, so far I am concerned, I have been very, very lucky, fortunate, and successful in settling down in this country. So I think if that happened to me, I assume that will stand good for all the other people who are likely to be immigrating to this country. So, so having said that, I would say the couple of things people could be aware about is they should be patient. They should be having perseverance, like they should kind of wait for the right opportunity, wait for some time, and use that time for preparing yourself for the role that you are looking for. It will come. I'm sure it will come. So persevere. That's one thing I would want to say. And the only challenge that I faced in this country, if I may say, that was just cold weather. And that also, Sonia, I don't think is a much of an issue here. Like I have lived in minus 50 and I worked in plus 50 also. Like I lived in Winnipeg now, as of now. So here I've seen minus 50. and life goes on here. So I don't think even that is a challenge. So just come with the positive frame of mind, and I think you will succeed. So I think I'm very highly recommending that people should consider coming to Canada, and I don't think they will face any issues other than that. Or I mean, I don't say any issues at all, frankly.
Yeah, and I would like to add that if you are coming to Canada, do not think that I know that the chartered accountant is the best degree, but the local designation is very important. And local designation, you have to basically with the MOU help, you can do very easily and quickly. Like last year also, almost our 20 chartered accountants qualified for CPA from British Columbia within a 6-month time. So don't think that if you got a job, you are not going to do the local designation. If you do not do the local designation, then the leadership and other progress is not possible. So I will suggest the members that be prepared for local designation to get the CPA or other expertise here. We are working with the various organizations, so that is my advice. And do not basically take it granted your LinkedIn profile. Like LinkedIn profile is very famous here for before you get the opportunity for interview, the people search for you. They see what is your LinkedIn profile. So basically in social media, whatever you write correctly and try to be basically be ready for the challenges here. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Same question to Gaurav sir too.
Okay. So now we're talking about what are the challenges, right? So challenge number 1, if you're in Chicago, the winter is brutal and you have to be willing to kind of withstand it. Of course, you'll always have ways and means to counter that. Other than that, the weather is very good, I would call it. We don't have tornadoes, we don't have any hurricanes and all really. So that's a good thing. The other general thing that I would really point out too is back in India, we have been born and brought up in India, which means that it's kind of home country for us. So with our friends, we would discuss whichever topic, whatever comes to our mind, no questions asked, right? But over here, as you forge new relationships, forge new friendships, be careful of what we call as a taboo topic in USA at least. And a few of the taboo topics. 1, never ever talk about abortion. I know I'm an advocate of women's rights, but at the same time, not to discuss this in public. Okay? The second thing you want to talk about is gun violence. There are people who are on both sides of the aisle feeling equally strongly, and some of these discussions can actually come back to bite you, especially if going by what Sanjay Bhai was just saying, Ganesh Bhai, is if you put it in social media, okay, it's going to come back to haunt you whether you like it or not. So that's one thing that you want to be careful about. The other thing is this. You can expect any email that you send out in this country, at least, and I've seen this more happen over here than anywhere else, to come back to you after 6 or 8 months with more notes that people kept on adding on top of your emails, and simply because your email was abrasive or your email was not to the point. So again, going back to the communication strategy and all, be very cool, be very concise, and ensure that you don't have a word to remove. Don't worry about if I have a word to add. Worry about I don't have a word to remove, and then communicate. I think back to you, Sonia.
So I must say that today we are getting such great vibes from you all that not only enlightened our many issues but also fill our hearts with joy and uplift our thoughts towards life. Now we are getting so many questions from the persons, so I would like everybody can just answer. The first question is from the Dinesh Meghani ji. If anybody wants to start own KPO services into overseas accounting and taxation, How can one get the clients and to target that country consultancy firms or something else? Please light upon. Anybody from the panelists can enlighten us on the question of Dineshji?
Yeah, I can get started here. That's a very good question. And this is relating to members that are in practice or members that are trying to secure business from overseas, not just US. One thing that I would point out to begin with is have the right skill set. Okay, in the sense that if you are looking at providing as simple as QuickBooks or accounting, know the right tools and technology that is being used. For example, in the US, like what we have Tally in India, the basic accounting, you need to be aware of QuickBooks, Sage, and those mid-small market segment users. So know at least QuickBooks, because that's one thing that is prevalently used, and then Zero. Then have the right network, okay, because when you reach to the US, and one thing that we do here from the chapter is people are, like our members are able to secure the work, but nobody really understands what the CA is. So sometimes they need referrals or references to be precise, and then we kind of help the members or people here understand what the CA is. So it's it's sad sometimes we need to explain what CA is, but that is the reality of it. So members who have secured some work or need some references, please feel free to reach out to any branch or any representative of, not branch, any chapter or representative offices in the US, and they should be able to vet what a CA is and give a good reference for you. A lot of work is secured through references because people want to do a lot of background checks and they need to know what you do. So that's one way to secure the work if you already have the connections. If you don't have the connections and if you are trying to establish your connections new, go with the connections that you know at whatever level they are and start reaching out. And like I said in my earlier when I spoke, is don't say what you are trying to secure. It's easy for us to see that you are a CA. Start writing up articles or start demonstrating what you're bringing. That way, when you reach out to someone, they won't call you or they won't talk to you first. They'll go online and start searching. What did you do? What are your offerings? How many videos have you put on YouTube? How many technical sessions have you given? Okay, what is your deal making process? So there is a lot of online content that people first go and search about you. So if you have not written any articles in your local jurisdiction, if you are not showcasing your talent, it will not come up online. So I would advise strongly to start doing it if you are really looking for it. Then the very important aspect of securing work from US is please don't start by saying we will provide services at low cost. That's one thing people are put off. Nobody wants services to be done at low. I mean, obviously that's a byproduct of what you're trying to do. But start telling, but what value addition can you give? Okay, so that's something I want to emphasize to all the members that are either starting to look to gain work here by not saying that we'll do work for low. We are undercutting ourselves, and that's something I would strongly advise not doing it. So I'll pause there. I can add a few more things, but Sonia ji, please.
Okay. So the next question is from Neha. Apart from PR process for Canada, what can be the other way to get work visa as no company are willing to sponsor resources from offshore as local sources are available if we talk of chartered accountants? Further, can you let us know which domain is more demanded there from our profession?
So maybe I want to add here, and that could be a bit difficult thing, but apart from the PR thing, maybe you want to come via education route. If I mean you are one of the younger members, like under 30 or something, so you can take kind of admission into for a course like MBA or something. There are so many universities available. That could be the other route. So those are the two routes, like PR and the education, to my understanding.
Okay.
I can just add on to it that, apart from PR and education route and work permit, another could be, it depends on the skill sets that you bring in and to the company how relevant it is. Like I belong to the financial crime industry, financial crime sector. So if you have core expertise, domain knowledge, let's say some technology background, you can develop on that, and then that company, let's say your company or someone has an affiliate or a head office based out in Canada, that can be used as a way to say, okay, I bring this skill set, I have this knowledge base, you have an office there, can I move there or something? That could be another way, especially I've seen that at least in my career.
So, Sonia, if I can add one thing, while we were talking, I've started receiving LinkedIn connections, and I've connected with 3 professionals already. So, I want to say, whoever is listening in and attending this, you're already doing a great thing this is networking. If any members are looking for help, the first way is to reach out via LinkedIn, because that's a very powerful platform that's used in the US. And limit your content on what you write there. Keep it very professional. But I'll also tell you this, that don't expect that everyone you send LinkedIn invite will accept it. And that's true for me also. When I send a LinkedIn invite, I don't anticipate that they will automatically accept it. So have that expectation of failure and keep trying. Keep positioning yourself. Keep yourself up to date on LinkedIn, and let people follow you and see you more. That way you, as one of the panelists said, visibility is one of the big things that will come automatically, because we have so much of technology now. You don't have to do anything much more than being online, but keep it very professional. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So the next question is from Arvind ji. How are the great opportunities for CAs in Canada as compared to Australia?
So it's difficult to compare with Australia, but I think being we as accountants, I think the opportunity should be similar. And so far my understanding goes like there are a number of times that we are accessing Australian research papers while working in Canada. So maybe to some extent they could be more advanced, maybe in terms of technology. But I think generally the opportunities should be similar in both the countries, Australia and Canada. The one advantage to me, to the people, comes in case of climate, and Australia is definitely a warmer country. So that could be one thing, distinguishing factor. Like for example, I applied for both and I got both and I chose Canada. So basically it is your choice what you want to. But I think in terms of opportunity, they should be similar. That would be my understanding.
The next question is from Abhinarayan Mishra ji. How to get business in practice area of international taxation sitting in India? Anybody from the panelists can answer. How to get business in practice area of international taxation while sitting in India?
So I would repeat on that what Raj said earlier. Basically, it's 2 skills you have to have, and so basically one is that you should know the field, the subject one, and you should be having good network. I think those are the key things, and that applies not only for international taxation work, but any work for that matter.
And also, I would say you will have to prove, or rather demonstrate, why hiring you is better than getting the job than someone else, or getting the job done onshore here. Like what additional things that you can develop, or what additional skills that you bring in, and why would it benefit the company?
Sonia, one thing I will add to that is one of the challenges practicing chartered accountants in India have is there is no pipeline. How do you even start bringing there? So I would say connect with this group. Now we have started with the institute. They have started to put together a global network. So far over the past many years we've been here, there was no opportunity to connect with the network and even ask for work and to know what's going on in these countries. Now that we are starting to build this network, let's work on a pipeline. There are lots of companies. I work for a company and others do as well. We all have international, and especially India is every global company's largest opportunity. So they are all looking to India. They're all looking for professionals there. So take your time, as Geeta said as well before she left, look at it as a long-term opportunity. Really build your network, and then you will see as you get to know people, the pipeline will be there. And to the Desh's point, then you have to prove why you. I mean, it's not easy. It's competitive, but at least that large funnel will be there. And then when it flows through the funnel, you'll see some opportunities will come your way as well.
The next question is from Rahulji. He is asking, I am also pursuing CPA. Earlier, my experience related to teaching and CA firm, but recently joined USA-based consulting firm company. Is it any possibility that I can directly work in USA after CPA?
I would go for that. So I would say yes and no. And no, because yes, we know going down the regular visa route of H1 is very difficult, and there are no real H1s available for the accounting areas. I mean, it's not like they are not there, but they are very rare. So unless your company is in some remote village of USA, you may not possibly get your H1 done easily. That said, USA has multiple ways of coming down to the country, and one of them is L1. And what L1 actually does is it allows you to allows your company in India to push you from India to USA on deputation. And once you come here, you can actually file for a green card very much immediately. And compared to H1, the process for green card for L1 visa holders is much shorter, because the stage 1 that is otherwise required for H1 visa holders is simply not present. So to answer your question, if you could essentially come here on L1, it would be easy. Now, it may not happen immediately after your CPA, but yes, you can certainly work towards it, and in the next few years, you could possibly be here.
Okay, so next question is from Girish Kumar. How do we pitch for outsourcing business from India? Very much relevant for all. We all are tempted to get the outsourcing work by sitting in the India. So,
No, Sonia ji, I can go for it, and please feel free other panelists. And it's a very important question. And what we see is members trying to reach out to other members and try to secure business. You know, I'll start by saying it is extremely difficult. Okay, not to disappoint anyone here, but the process of securing outsourcing work has become very competitive, because you are not only fighting amongst our colleagues in India. There is heavy competition from South America, Europe, and South Asian countries. So now you need to start thinking about global competition. Now, so far we know India is still the largest, but still the competition is picking up. So unless we start differentiating ourselves, we will be in heavy competition. Now, how can you secure work? I think there is no magic formula to it. The one way I have seen, and I worked a lot in a specialized sector, is pick one area of specialization and start offering that service. A lot of people, a lot of our members or firms reach out to me saying, I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then that I stop right there. Okay, so that means I cannot see the real value of what is your real priorities. Pick 1, 2, and keep that as your priority. Number 1, number 2. That's all. Because anything more you offer, you need to have that level of expertise. And it tells that if you're trying to do everything in a basket, unless you are a very large firm, it's very difficult to comprehend how can you achieve that level of quality. So pick a niche area, pick something that is hot, because if you want to really win work, a lot of our members have said that you need to be aware of what's going on in the market. What it really means is understanding what is hot right now. The specs are hot, IPO readiness is hot. Anything in AI is hot. Anything in ESG is hot. So this is what you need to understand when people are saying no about work. They're not talking about understand what's going on in some country in politics. We are in the professional business, so we need to. It's important to understand politics, but it's very important to understand what is driving which economy. The startup economy is so vast, and you don't have to look outside. For example, India, we have a session coming up on August 31, India Startup. If you have not heard about it, I'm one of the speakers, but please make time to attend it and you will see there are some amazing speakers. Those are the sessions you should know what is happening in India. If you don't know what's happening in India, it's very difficult to understand what's happening elsewhere. So there's a lot happening in India. But I'll come back to the question, how can you win work? There's no magic formula. Keep trying. Keep your niche area as to what is that one or two offerings you get. Don't put everything on the website, because what you do once you send me a proposal of services, I go to your website and see 10 different things, and I go to your team and I see 2 or 3 people, team members, and offering 8 services. That tells me that this is not going to work. So I could be wrong in some areas. You may have 50-member team, but still quality matters. So how does quality come in is by picking your area of whatever you are offering. If you are offering QuickBooks, say, or if you're offering accounting, you say, I'm an expert in accounting. Say that. I am an expert in accounting and nobody can offer more than me. And that's all. That's one statement tells me that, this is the guy I need to go for. Right now we work with Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, they are all specialists. And that's what, encourages people in the US to look forward to, okay, if I work with them, how can you keep my client happy here, right? So you need to think from not me as your client, but the ultimate party we are serving. How can we keep them happy? How can we keep things timely? So winning work is tough, very competitive, but once you pick your area of specialization and keep trying, you will fail. That's for a given. Keep trying. For example, CFO services is picking up a lot. If you have not already given a thought about it, start working in that area and start thinking that as a service other than your regular bookkeeping stuff. Because I'll tell you why people talk about technology a lot, but I'll tell you, I'll be honest here, technology is putting a lot of accounting jobs out, and a lot of my colleagues would agree. Something like QuickBooks, Sage, Xero. Today, when you connect your bank accounts to QuickBooks, it automatically does what we used to do 20-25 years back. So how you can win the work is let QuickBooks do its own work, but you position yourself that what QuickBooks cannot do, right? So you need to be able to articulate and demonstrate that, boss, QuickBooks is doing 80% of your work, but that 20% it can never do. So you create an opportunity for yourself. You can create that opportunity when you master it. So master it. And when people ask me, how can I learn QuickBooks sitting in India? Very easy. There is free version of every single software that is existing. Go subscribe for the free version, learn left, right, center, and become a master in it. Or I'll tell you the very simplest part, right? So how many of you are Excel expert? If you have done Excel for some time, can you call yourself an Excel expert? If yes, call yourself an Excel expert. That's all. You will start winning work. I'm telling you right there. And I'll stop, Sonia ji.
Yeah, and I would like to add one more thing. Recently, it is not only accounting. If you are entrepreneur, try to do there are various opportunities on architecture designing. And now, since multidisciplinary consulting partnership is being allowed by the institute, they are trying to do it. Then you have a legal sector. So don't try to establish yourself in one sector. Try to explore other sectors which are not yet been very developed, and you can do it. So that is the thing. You have to visualize what is the next coming in.
Sonia ji, I would also.
Yeah, sure, sir. Reply you.
So, there's existing industries. I was just saying, try to tap into the existing resources of the existing network that the local CA community has already built in. It could be any of the chapters in the US or in Canada, the BC chapter or Toronto chapter. like I can say for our chapter, we have something called as various mentorship programs wherein volunteers or established members from our community kind of guide the new immigrants and new mentees and help them in their careers. We have professional circles or Toastmasters, talent share program wherein currently KPMG is our partner. So I would say try to tap into those networks, reach out and see what can be done. There's no harm in that. And when I say reach out, just don't go and say, give me a job or give me this work. What can you do for me? No, nobody will do that for you. That you have to figure it out. But at least say, this is what we offer. This is how we can deliver. And is there any way that you can guide us? I'm sure there will be plenty of members in our community who will be more than willing to help you out.
I just want to add one point, not in this context, but since there are a lot of CAs in practice here who are seeking out work, there is a lot of difference between the scope of work which CAs in practice do and CPAs in practice in US do in terms of kind of services they provide, at least those who are into traditional services. So at least in India, the CAs who are in practice, their scope of service is much huge than the CPAs in US because there is these bank audits which even the smaller CA firms are able to get, which is unheard of in US, where a small CPA firm will never get to do any decent bank audit. There is a huge scope of work in direct and indirect taxation in India, which is much not as wide in scope compared to US. And bottom line is that in US, the CPAs who are in practice in traditional services, their services are more or less confined to things like taxation, compilation, review services, bookkeeping, unless they get some very good revenue size companies to audit. So in terms of scope of work, Indian CAs have much wider scope in terms of their practice compared to the CPAs here. At least I'm talking about the small and medium sized firms and practice members. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Due to paucity of time, the unanswered question will be mailed to the viewers right now. Now it's time to extend my gratitude to all the panelists for sparing their time and enlightening us all. Sir, your words of wisdom are going to immensely benefit all the viewers. And thank you so much for enriching our knowledge with your wonderful deliberation and examples. So I've heard that the fragrance of a flower spread only in the direction of the wind. But the goodness of a person spread in all direction, and the way you all are spreading the fragrance in all the direction. Really, we are elated to be a part of this webinar series. Thanks to all the participants for their active participation. Now I request Pradeep sir also for the final remarks.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I just want to say that 2 days we have covered, and the third day, which is after a gap of 1 day, on August 31st, we will be covering the region Middle East, and that's every member likes to know about Middle East also, as it's closer to our country, and many people say that ask that which region is better, and mostly it depends upon how far we are ready to go. Like when I came to Middle East, I thought that I would not go beyond Middle East, either go back to India or else stay in Middle East. So therefore, there are some questions I saw that have been asked on that part. I'm sure those will be also answered. And thank you to all the panelists for in a very short time, they agreed to come and had woken up early morning on Sunday, as US and Canada is like that. And but we try to keep it on Sunday early morning so that now you can take rest. So thank you so much, and thanks, and thank you for the great day.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care and stay well all.